You have found Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. We're locally underwritten by the Bank of Sun Prairie. Downloadable audio episodes can be found on the podcast link at drawincustomers.com. Today, we're welcoming / preparing to learn from Dan Guerra, the CEO of SDM Central. So, Dan, how are things going today?
Hey, every day is a great day.
That's the
Every
best.
day is a great day.
You know, that's the mindset I hear of a lot of entrepreneurs are just like, it's awesome. Everything's great.
So you always
Loving life.
You always get that when you talk to somebody who's a real estate agent. You ask them, "How's the market?" Best market ever.
You couldn't ask for a better market.
I'm like, did we wake up in the same space?
No.
But
2008, everything's on fire. It's great.
I remember going to like networking events and happy hours.
I do.
How's real estate? Best market ever.
Yeah.
Mortgage guy, man, flying off the shelf. Can't keep up with the underwriting. I'm like, I just heard about a financial crisis, man.
Yeah. Isn't the world on fire?
Yeah. So to your point, yes, I think entrepreneurs are default optimistic people.
They have to be.
If you weren't, it'd be really hard to get out of bed after getting, life pummeled out of you the day before because you had a series of like failures. And so,
yeah, or you'd have murdered employees.
Yeah, I mean, I would never say that, but I think that you bring up a really important thing, which is resilience. And I think that's something that you and I share as entrepreneurs, is being generally resilient people. Where we get a lot of no's, and we get more no's than we do yeses, except our yeses, when we get there, are really, really big, and it allows us to move the agenda forward. And not just for us, but to your point, like the people that work with us, our employers, our contractors, our customers, and so those yeses are huge yeses. One of the things that super inspires me is like, there was just like this Michael Jordan, like, quote on numbers, and I'm going to screw it up, so I'm not even going to try the numbers, but they say for all his awesome shots, he had 9,000 misses. And so if he hadn't had all those misses, he wouldn't have had all the successes. And I think that just kind of inspires us as entrepreneurs. Like, we got to get in the game. We can't be afraid of the no, and the yeses that we have are going to be hugely beneficial, not just for us, but the people that are around us.
Yeah, I mean, Babe Ruth, I think, had the most strikeouts of any player for a long time.
Babe who?
Babe Ruth, the baseball guy. But we don't talk about that, right? We talk about home runs and hot dogs. It's all good. So, interesting thing. I guess I should let the crowd know that I've known you for a long time. I don't know, years, right?
Yes.
So I'm trying to think. When I knew you, you had an office downtown Madison. And I remember visiting you at that office across the street. People were protesting something. Oh. And I remember I asked you, what are they protesting? And you're like, oh, every Thursday they protest about something. And It was funny because I'm like, are you seriously? And you're totally serious. Every week, something's wrong.
We love it when people exercise democracy.
Yeah. It's weird. I mean, I get it. Fantastic going protest.
Wait, that was a long time ago. I remember that.
It was just a weird, we were having a meeting. It was on the corner right there. And I'm just like, this crowd's kind of noisy.
Veterans building.
Yeah. So it's one of those, like, every week, really? Like, at one point, couldn't you just be like, you know what? We're good.
Well, after they had the riots, like in 2011, they'd protest on Thursday and they'd sing on Fridays.
Oh.
Yeah. And I mean, it was great to come together. It's hard to get work done, but nice.
I imagine. It's one of those, just like, do any of you need a job? We could hire a couple of you. But on the flip side, if they're protesting something that I want to be protested, then have at her, man.
Hey, I think it's like, put your time into everywhere you find it. And if you find some happiness, do it.
Sure.
Keep in mind, I'm trying to make happiness and other stuff for other people. So just don't,
Yeah, within the legal and ethical confines of choices.
Hey, as it turns out, cannabis is almost legal now.
Didn't we have something that we voted for a little while ago that we're just like, make this happen?
I think that was an advisory referendum.
All right.
So that was the one that I think I always thought was kind of fun. It was like, everybody comes out for cannabis legalization.
All right. It's all good. So let's go back, way back in the protesting people outside your window for something, not you.
They were not protesting us.
No.
Just-
I think it was like puppies should have more fur or something along those lines. Some or puppies should shed less, maybe.
It
I
was a
might attend that one. Anyways, you had Argus Ventures, if I recall correctly.
Yep.
So let's go down the road. When did you first start your first what you would consider to be your first real small business or real business? Maybe it was big.
I started my first business, actually before Argus in 2001,
All right.
before I graduated high school.
Oh wow, a real one? We're not talking a paper route or anything
Oh, this
yet.
is a real one. This is a real one.
All right.
I did it with two other friends of mine in high school because we were going to be big computer service and repair moguls at the time. And
Well, in 2001, that was a big deal.
yeah. Wow. You know what? You just made me realize I'm approaching 22 years of doing this. I've been
Still,
doing
you're
this-
here.
Yeah.
Still,
oh my
you're here.
gosh. And I'm still here. Thank you. And actually on a serious note, like thanks to all the people that I've had to work with over the last 20 years. Uh, but you know, I did consulting before I graduated high school. I never really had a real job. And then
Never,
no,
never flipped burgers or whatever, served a beer. I don't know, whatever.
not qualified to serve burgers or flip beer, you know.
All right. Well, that's okay. I didn't get a job at Arby's when I applied for it a way long time ago. And that kind of broke my heart a little bit. Like that's where I'm at in my life. I'm
So-
sad that I didn't get hired at Arby's.
Ironically, at some point, I must have worked for the school district. I think I might have been doing some technology consulting. So my brother now works for the school district, and he
All
called
right.
me. He goes, "When did you work for the school district?" And I'm like, "I have no idea." He goes, "You know you're in here, right?" I'm like, "You've got money in the ETF." I'm like, "I have no ungodly idea what you're talking about." He's like, "Yeah, you were employed." I'm like, "That would have, I mean, maybe that was the summer after I graduated or before I graduated or something."
You got pension checks headed your way and you didn't even know?
Yes, you know, and he goes, I know it was a long time ago because your number is really low in the system. I'm like, well, I have been graduated for 20 years, so. But no.
So
I mean,
anyways, you got these partners and are you fixing computers or is it more server stuff or what are you doing?
we're fixing computers. So this is what happens. So it comes down to graduation. Dan decides that he's going to go to the technical school. His mom and dad are really pissed at him because he's not going to the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And, you know, he turned down a really nice ride to go there. Might be one of my lesser than great moments in life and bad decision making. Who knows?
Life is all about choices.
Life is all about choices. And so I decided to go to MAT, it was Madison Area Technical College at the time. Decided we're going to do this. We have a lot of fun that summer. We don't do a whole lot of business. We are too busy having fun post graduation, you know,
All right.
big envelopes of money, and you've got money and bad decisions. So we did that. We got to the end of the summer though, and I was starting to get itchy, like I wanted to really get back into doing something. Have a conversation with my two amigos and said, "Hey, if you guys aren't ready to move forward and make this business work, I want to buy you out."
So at that time, let me just ask you a few questions here to get some foundation here.
Yeah.
Your two partners, are they just buddies of yours or do they actually know how to turn a screw on a computer?
One of them knows how to turn a screw and be a programmer.
Okay.
The other one, we just like hanging out together and
All
making.
right. He's the guy that orders pizza.
He's the guy that orders pizza.
That's your skill set. All right. And the computers that you're fixing or trying to fix, are they residential or is this more commercial stuff?
Predominantly more residential. So like
Okay.
I didn't have any idea of like commercial business and doing all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And but you know, so I get to the end of the summer and you know, you got to get serious about life. And so I have this conversation with my amigos. I mean, it sounded good before we graduated. And then by the time we had to get practical and we all wanted money, it's like, this might not work out. And so I ended up buying them out like in August of 2001.
And are you buying, what are you buying? A tool bag? Like what is the value of the business?
So we all came to the table with $600.
All right.
So basically me returning the money that we'd spent, you know.
Gotcha. All right.
And so we did that. And so I got, you know, we took them out and then I ended up, so my dad was very, very upset with me. And so, and then I
That
asked
you
him,
bought them out or that you headed to the tech college?
I mean, the list is pretty long,
Okay.
but I
Thanks,
mean,
Dad.
it was mad that you're going to the tech college, mad that you turned down this experience to go to the university. It was mad that, I'm like, okay. So we were not like on great speaking terms.
All
But
right.
I was like, hey, Dad, I need $2,000 to get my business started. Will you float me $2,000? And so my dad, being the stand-up guy that he is, borrows me $2,000, or really gave me $2,000. If it wasn't for my dad to get started, I wouldn't have had it.
All right.
I had a couple contacts, people that knew that I was starting a business, and so I sublet part of a law office downtown Madison across from Wando's, the bar, and so we started like a new install base of customers, and I ordered my first sign. And so my first sign was ready to get picked up on September 11th, 2001.
Oh, well, that's just bad planning on your part.
I mean, so this was so amazing about this. Like, like I didn't have an appreciation of where we were as a country or what was going on. But
Nobody did.
yeah, I remember just like walking out of school. That's why MATC is week 3. My classes get canceled because it's just like my teacher's like, nobody can concentrate today. Everybody go home.
Mm-hmm.
We all go home. And I'm like, great, I can go pick up my sign. That was the first thought that occurred to me. Great, I can go pick up my sign.
Yeah, like the show's got to go on, right?
And
Keep it moving.
that's kind of where I was. And so, starting off in a recession might not have been the best thing, but it was a learning lesson. And, and so being in that environment changed it, going to work every day changed it, getting all the parking tickets in downtown Madison changed it. And so, and it was a different way to start, thinking about the world. And so that's really my introduction to not doing residential computer service and repair, but doing more commercial pieces. And then learning how that, and so one of the ideas I never had this thought about, right? So the mindset, the world's changing, we're becoming more defensive, people don't want to spend money. We decided that we're going to change our customer base from residential to doing more commercial service work. We're starting to get more projects here. And then I didn't have any appreciation for like, hey, people like to buy stuff on terms. They don't pay you right away for it.
Oh, sure.
And so this idea of like working capital was like totally like foreign to me. And so, I found myself in some more working capital crunches, and, my dad was a super solid guy at the time again. And I got, I think my first line of credit from like Park Bank for like 10 grand or something like that, or 5 grand. And, and that kind of bailed us out the first time of dealing with this. And I'm like, and it's like, I had all these like school of hard lessons. And, I was a Boy Scout, and so all the people that I was, in scouting with, I told that I was doing this new computer service and repair business. A couple of them owned businesses, and they did business with us, and that's kind of really how I built my first company, was through word of mouth and a lot of the stuff that I'd done. And
All right.
I did a lot of stuff in the Latino community at the time, and the Latino community was incredibly supportive of my business. And so we did a lot of computer service and repair, and we did a lot of stuff for the YWCA here in Madison. And in fact, we did so much work for them is that we were awarded the Volunteer of the Year award in 2004.
Oh, wow. Congrats.
So I mean, like, so the success that I have today and the initial success that we had in the computer service and repair business is because so many stakeholders in town here took an interest in helping me become the person I am today. And I am like eternally thankful for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
There's no one self-made, right? You always have an army behind you
yes.
or in front of you.
I mean, you know what? You cannot do it yourself. And I did not do it myself. And I would never say that I did.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many stakeholders that have helped me get launched that you can't say thank you to enough people.
Mm-hmm.
No, I will tell you, like, we did the computer service and repair thing. I got candidly, after doing that for probably 3-4 years, I'm like, you know what? I'm done with computer service and repair. Because everybody wants to call you on the weekend for, a free, how do I install something? Can you change my modem for free? I have a new appreciation for mechanics. Let me put it that way.
So it's so funny because I met you when I had Doc Jam's printer repair.
Yeah.
And I remember we started adding drop-off printer repair for whatever machines people had, printer wise, copier wise, all that stuff from their home, which a lot of that was inkjet stuff. And we started to having to charge people a nut when they would first drop it off, because we'd look at it and tell them, hey, you need this $50 part or whatever. And they're like, just keep it, right? Like they're doing us a favor. Keep my trash. And I won't charge you anything for this broken printer. And so then we had to start charging people. And I remember we had, I don't know, it was $29 or something like that as the fee for us to look at it. And then if they chose to repair it beyond that, it was quoted and all this kind of stuff. And I remember this person complaining about $29. And I just kept thinking, like, how much would it have to be for you not to complain? And I couldn't come up with a number that was anything more than zero.
Yeah.
Right. But because apparently we work for free, right? People don't.
Well, I mean, I think there's a reality, right? And if you're a general consumer, you don't really think about the guy on the other side of it. Sometimes you do, and that's where you choose to take your dollars and do business. But I think most people think that small business owners, we make so much money.
Yeah. Got 7 yachts parked out back, right?
The
helicopters on every one.
The reality is that most small business owners will never have a liquidity event. They will never have an opportunity to cash out or have their life's work appreciated. They're going to work for less than what they could have likely made in the private sector. They are going to take more risk and responsibility over the course of their career for capital in play. They're going to mortgage their house for their business. They're going to hire employees. Those employees are going to come in and ask for more, which is totally fine. You're going to take home the stress on the day-to-day, and yet we're going to continue to show up and we're going to do it tomorrow because, gosh darn it, we like it and we love it. And, there's not one small business owner that does not spend more time supporting their community through like nonprofit association and board, chambers of commerce, employing people. And you know what? This is where you hear the stories of like small businesses, is that people get sick or they have some kind of chronic illness and they don't throw them off the payroll. They continue to pay them. They do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the stories that are seldom heard. And so we forget like that's how tough it is to be a small business owner, so I have this conversation with my dad all the time, he goes, I don't understand why that's so expensive. I'm like, well, clearly you don't have to pay anybody. Or like, my time has value in it, and so am I generous with my time? Yes. To the folks in my circle, will I always give time to them? I want to try to be the best guy that I am, but the reality is like there's 25, 30 people that depend on what's going on here, plus my customers for some of the mission critical pieces that we do. You got to stay focused and you got to prioritize, you got to deliver. And sometimes that means I don't get to go have the fun that you get to go have. We don't think about that stuff. And you can't put dollars on what makes all this stuff work for everybody.
It'd be difficult.
I mean,
It'd be very difficult. Yeah.
Well, no, just think about it. The reason that you put that $29 on there is you didn't want to get stiffed. But number two, you're trying to screen out the people who aren't serious about dealing with the problem.
Yeah. We're putting a very low barrier to entry.
And
so if you're not interested in spending $29 on your machine, we're not interested in looking at it.
Yeah. And today I was really uncomfortable with that early on. And today I'm significantly more comfortable putting barriers of entry in because like I'm willing to give you a lot. And I believe in the give-get. I don't believe in one-sided relationships.
Agree. It's interesting you say that because we're like, I have the call answering service, right? Communication business, just like every business. Deep down inside is a communication business. And there are some clients where you're just like, all we need you to do is respond to this email and tell us yes or no on this one thing that we had a caller ask about. It'll take you 5 seconds and we can't get that response. And we're like, we feel like if you just would treat us with a little bit more respect, everyone would be happier. Your clients would be happier. You would be happier. We would certainly be happier.
Yeah.
And it would be win, 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 win all the way around. But instead you ignore the email or it gets lost in your thousands or whatever. It's just like, ugh.
It's tough.
It's
tough. And you know what? There are not perfect answers to any of this stuff.
No, not necessarily. Not all of it anyways.
Obviously in my world, there's perfect answers. Just do it.
I have them all, right?
No.
Just ask.
But, yeah, right. But no, and like I said, I love building organizations. I love doing this. I love hitting my head against the wall in frustration.
Feels so good when you stop, right?
Well, you know, I mean, this is what was fun. I'll give you an example. Like this is a little bit of tangent because I know we're going chronologically, but so after I did the service and repair business, I launched a website development company.
All right. Now, what year ballpark? Just roughly.
Well, this is probably
Oh, 0506.
yeah, I say 0405, probably 0506, yeah.
Okay. So you're talking essentially roughly a decade after the internet really got going.
Yeah. Yes.
So still relatively youthful. AOL was probably still a household name.
Oh yeah. Yes. Instant message.
Yahoo was still the place to go to find what you're looking for.
I think I still have a Hotmail address someplace.
And I do as well. And that's how you know someone's a certain age, right? Oh, it's funny because I see an AOL and I'm like, oh, you're older than me. But then I see Gmail and I'm like, whoa, little tyke, what you got going on?
Yeah, no, it's 100% it right there.
Oh,
But
that's funny.
so
But
you
I
know,
mean, it's just to put in context for the people that don't necessarily know or want to remember. I mean, think where were smartphones back in 0506, right?
not exist.
Non-existent. So you didn't have to worry about responsive websites.
Nope.
It was
I
just, it was
think we might have had the BlackBerry starting at that time.
all right. But you had, and you were using things like Dreamweaver and Photoshop.
Well,
WordPress wasn't a thing.
actually, WordPress was just starting to become a thing.
Just starting. Okay.
I think
As a blog foundation.
It's blogging software, not a website software, but blog. Yeah.
Yeah. So just give some foundation for, well, how old you are and how long ago that was, how things were a little bit different then. I didn't mean that to be mean. I just mean to say, like, it's a different game back then, right, than what it is now.
It's 100% different. So, you know, what got me started in this is when I was in high school, I did C++ in computer science.
Oh, wow. All right.
So I had a coding background. And I knew PHP, and so I could do databases, which actually what got us into WordPress.
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing like sub 1.0 WordPress deployments and doing like theme customizations. And so, and to your point, like we would link in, we'd put up Dreamweaver so we could update the PHP files in there. And this is when we would create the templates like in Photoshop, and we'd send a version over to the customer. And we for a long time, for probably 5-6 years, we had this split portfolio of people who had these HTML only templated sites that had to be updated solely in Dreamweaver.
Oh, wow.
And like we had people we pushed into the WordPress framework.
All right, even back then.
Even back then, yes, yeah, we were pretty early into WordPress, and actually when we had Argus Ventures, we were doing our own custom plugins, so we were kind of ahead of the time doing that. And we did transaction software. We fed people on the university campus. And then we linked, I think, 7 or 10 different vendors on State Street together using swipes and mobile devices and card readers. And so we were monitoring the transactions there. So we deployed that, and that was like some really innovative software we did. We did some rental software, so being able to rent out apartments and doing apartment management. We did some e-commerce software. I mean, these are all custom themes that we built.
You built these for individual clients, or was this like the rental software? You just like, hey,
we built them.
Landlords are going to need this kind of thing.
We built them for individual customers, and what we do is we license them. So our real estate software was called Treehouse, and we actually did some real estate stuff. We called it what was it called? I forget what there's a particular piece of real estate software, IDX real estate. It was the Argus IDX product, where you could tie into the South Central Wisconsin MLS, and we'd be able to put it on your WordPress site. So we had all this bundled into a custom WordPress plugin, is what we did. And so, yeah, I mean, we went plugin crazy because everything was a customizable plugin.
All right. Are you making money?
We were making money. Yes. And so this is what happened in 2008. We were used to sell websites, $1,300, maybe $2,000. And so we started at 2008, we raised our price to like $5,000, $7,000, something like that, like baseline price to get in. And instead of what we did was, instead of trying to collect it all up front, we said, give us 12 to 24 monthly payments.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So they're essentially financing
we
through
finance.
the Bank of Argus Ventures.
That's exactly what we did. And actually, that's what rode us through, the recession of '08.
All right.
And actually, we came out on top in that recession, and we had more customers, we had increased our price point, and we had stabilized our cash flow.
Wow. That's
I mean,
admirable.
yeah, I mean, that was a really big time for me.
Especially if you're in the real estate world.
And so, well, it was, I mean, we did some real estate. We did more on the commerce and like general marketing side.
Gotcha. Okay. So it wasn't exclusive to
Yeah,
IDX
we
product.
weren't exclusive into that. No.
All right.
That would have been insane if I was exclusively one where, and I'm crazy, but not insane. Just to be
All right. Fair. Totally fair. So when you would license, let's just say, for example, that real estate product, right? Just to keep going down that road. Some client would come to you and they say, hey, I want a product that does this.
Yep.
And you say, great, we'll build it for you. But we're also, once we get this built and we figure out that it's cool, we're going to also offer it to other real estate people or other insert industry here.
Yeah, so one of the positions that we always took is that we will grant you a royalty-free license to the code that we use for your site, but we will always retain ownership over it. And we in no way, shape, or form entered into non-compete agreements with our customers.
All right.
With the sale agreements.
So essentially they would get a deal-ish, I imagine, by coming to you with the idea.
I mean,
Or
if they came with an idea, it would be, otherwise, if we had it like in our inventory, we could just pull it together. It's like, great, this is what it costs on a T&M basis to put it together and maintain it.
All right.
Yeah.
Got it. So how long did you run with that business?
I did that until 2014, 2013.
All right, it's a little while.
Yep. So we had a lot of fun. And so I think toward the end of that business, one of the pieces that we came out with was something we call the Argus Client Center. And so along the journey of creating all these small plugins, I kind of said, you know what, for what you look in e-commerce or real estate, recurring product sales, and what you look at for paying your bill and tracking this, and if you look at, what you're doing in education or whatever, there's a bunch of commonality in how these businesses are conducted. You call the functions different by industry. And so I said, why can't we build a common tree or a common data structure to kind of store everything and then have basically different flavors? And so one of the areas that we found some real growth opportunity was the education space. And
all right.
And so we built out a package of education, we sold it, and I was like, great, maybe I can make this a subscription product. So this is just as subscriptions were becoming like the sexy new thing.
Right.
So I'm like, great, I've got an online suite of education of a platform that I can sell. And so we tried to sell it for $199 a month.
All right.
Nobody buys it. We
All
go
right.
talk to people like, hey, this is what we do. They're like looking at me like, kid, you have no clue what you're talking about.
So let me just back up a step so I understand this, right? So this is a platform for the education, for the courses, so to speak.
Yep.
But you aren't creating the courses. Is that right?
Yeah, we don't create the courses. We just do the technology.
So this is for people, they create their courses, videos, PDFs, whatever forms, tests. They use your platform. People can pay. I imagine there's a paywall of some kind.
You can pay,
Okay.
and actually, I would say that we came up with like a one-click registration because this is when we learned that people use education as a source of lead gen.
All right, sure.
I never thought about that. So but we had a customer that we sold our first instance to, which is what drove us to build the software. My second instance was trying to sell this for $199 a month. Nobody buys the damn software. I mean, my second instance of selling the software, I sold for $100,000.
Wow.
And
tell us about that. Now we're talking money with commas.
As it turns out, I separated myself from the deal. I was working with an associate who was helping, and he is significantly more aggressive than I was. But what I learned out of this experience was the perception of value lesson.
Oh, here we go.
On what you do,
yeah,
nobody will value it. And so what I learned in this space is that in the online ed space, you're a joke if you're like sub 10K.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm like,
because you were priced lower, people didn't even consider you.
That's right.
All right.
And once I realized this, so once I had this first experience and I started to learn and understand it, like the website stuff became really like increasingly less interesting, and it just seemed boring.
Because
And
it's
so,
low dollar amount. It's
yeah,
pain in the butt.
right, and you got to deal with people, and
Yeah.
like so one of the things that you understand, like as you become a business owner, is that creating a repeatable process in everything you do is really the opportunity for growth,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's how you scale, it's how you grow, it's how, whatever.
Systems, man. Systems.
And it's
Systematize everything.
yeah, exactly, right. And so like, but like, and you got to have the passion, and if you don't have a passion for doing a new project or taking on some of this stuff, it's hard to get out of bed.
Right. You're
And so,
looking forward to new headaches.
yeah, but you know what? I had my big sale here. I'm like, wow, this is cool. Like, let's go boil the ocean. Like, this was like a
I
ocean.
never, I never heard that phrase before. That's awesome.
I love
Boil
it.
the ocean.
Go boil. Let's go run, man.
Yeah.
So we go back to our med ed customer. They're getting ready to launch at a show in Chicago. We were talking about the victories that we had. We have a good amount of cash in the bank, and this time, my attention is clearly drifting. And so our portfolio is being managed by predominantly somebody else. I'm dealing with the stuff that really makes Dan happy and interesting and shiny. And so I go to Chicago, I go to this trade show, and I mean, I kid you not, 53,000 people at this trade show. It's a healthcare trade show in the imaging space. It's just after Thanksgiving. All right. If you've ever been to McCormick Center, it's the North Hall, the South Hall, and the Lake Hall.
Oh, that's big. McCormick Hall is huge. It's a
Huge.
small town.
I have
Or a
never seen
medium-sized town.
I have never seen a trade show booth the size of a city block that I grew up on.
All right.
There it was, the GE booth, and then next to the GE booth was a Siemens booth. And I'm like, okay, I'm clearly in the wrong business.
They get a couple bucks thrown around there.
I mean, their booths were more than I had probably made in my entire life.
Sure.
And so, but I volunteered to work with this med ed customer who was there. They were debuting their site and our software. And I said, you know what, I will happily work the booth. I will show them how our software works. I am your guy. So they made the content, we made the software. And so when I wasn't working the booth, I just decided to walk the show floor.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that you can do when you have nothing at stake is you can ask a lot of dumb questions. And
Yeah,
I'm
because
like,
there's no risk. Who cares?
I'm like, these guys will never meet me again. Let me just ask like any basic dumb question I possibly can.
And who do they have working the booths, right?
Yeah.
It's probably
Well,
not the CEO of GE hanging out there.
Definitely not. Definitely not. But it wasn't just the booth folks, it's just like people walking up and down aisles.
Mm.
What I was doing, like get some feedback. And so what I had discovered at the end of and this is a very long trade show, it's a full week trade show. Yeah, so you're up at like 6, you're going to bed at like midnight, you're drinking until all hours of the night. That sounds more exciting on the front end than it is on the back end.
Nah, it depends on your age and typical trade show, right?
No, it's probably like 25, 26, 27 at this time.
Well, you're having a good time.
I was having a great time. But what I discovered after reading a bunch of notes for a week is that the product that my customer built was not the product that the market wanted.
Oh, well, that's a light bulb moment or a record scratch moment, maybe.
They had built a product for yesterday's imaging technologist, not tomorrow's healthcare professional.
All right.
I spent a lot of time like on the ground talking to people. And so I came back with this whole list of recommendations on features and things that we should put in the platform. And I said, and I was very arrogant. I mean, I'm still pretty arrogant, but I was more arrogant at the time. And I said, folks, I have a bank account full of cash, and I have a list of ideas here. And I think I might be able to sell this better than you. You should bring me in for a third. I'll throw some cash in and let's go implement these changes and let's go sell. And they're like, whoa. Hang on.
We asked you to work our booth, not take over the world, right?
You don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, okay. And so we hung out another 12, 18 months, and they ended up going upside down.
Oh, no. All right.
Ended up buying that company for $1.
You bought that company?
I bought that company for $1. Yes, because they had a bunch of content that they had developed.
All right. I was just going to ask, what did that dollar get you? Because even though $1 is cheap, if you're buying gum on the street, it's still not worth it, right?
Yeah, so that dollar got me, I bought the company, I got rid of his partner, so I like wrote his partner like literally a check for like 40 cents. And then I gave him a job. I said, come work for me.
All right.
And so like, when we offered him both jobs, and at the end of the day, we could not come to terms with his minority partner.
Hmm.
And which is fine, that happens in business sometimes.
Sure. Not
Yeah.
everybody gets along. It's all good.
We went back to that same trade show the following year, and I walked away with a contract from GE Healthcare for $100,000. And
They signed at the trade show.
no, they signed just after the trade show, but we got a good part of the deal negotiated at the trade show.
Gotcha. Okay. So you met the right people there.
The
The right
people-
hands got shook, all that jazz.
Yes. And I'm like, we got some action going into this.
All right.
And so we happen to be in the same space, same office building that Startup Accelerator was in. And so we had hired a chief marketing officer just before we went to the trade show. And he goes, have you raised capital before? And I said, no idea what you're talking about. This is all funded out of Dan's pocket and everything else. And he goes, well, what do you think about raising capital? And so at that point, I decided test the water, talk to some docs who wanted to build a system to do online education and integrate some EHR components. This is all happening at the same time. Talk to them. This is super interesting. To Dan, this is interesting.
For Dan. All right.
And they're like, yeah, how much would that cost? And I throw out some astronomical figure. And they're like, okay, we'll write you a check. So I finished this coffee with this CMO, that guy who's telling me I should raise a capital. So I go back to these docs and I'm like, hey, how would you guys like to be part owners in the company? I think we're going to raise some capital. Why don't you guys be my seed investors? And ended up negotiating, terms. I mean, I forget what it was, like probably $3.5 million pre-money. I'm like, why don't we do that? Why don't you guys throw this in? We'll call it good. And so we ended up going in and raising like 200 grand, like off the bat. Call my attorney and I'm like, hey, I need a referral to somebody who does venture capital. Do you have any idea who does it? He goes, yeah, we got somebody in our firm. Talk to their attorney, talk to his referral in his firm. He goes, you negotiated all that? I'm like, yep. I'm like, do you know what you're negotiating? I'm like, not a clue. And he goes, well, you negotiated decent terms. I'm like, cool. And so we got that signed paper, did a convertible note, and we applied for this startup accelerator now. So but for this CMO that I had forgotten about, so I had thought about this in forever until you maybe tell this story. I would never thought about raising capital. And so we apply to this accelerator program and we get in.
All right.
So, and so they ended up writing another $100,000 check or 70,000, I think. And I think we had another follow-on check for like 50 or 70 or something like that. And so we did a 12-week accelerator program. We got to meet with some mentors whom I talked to today and helped shape my world. And we walked out of there raising 1.2 million.
Wow.
Yes. And then we utterly failed, but that's a whole different chapter. But so we were really successful, and again, this is where arrogance really hurts you as an entrepreneur. It's like I was so arrogant, and people told me that I was so special that I was going to part the Red Sea at some point.
All right. Well, I mean, as a business owner, you got to have at least a little chunk of ego, because you have to believe that you can do it better than it has been done. And if you didn't have an ego, you wouldn't have that belief.
I mean, I think that's true. I wish, I try to have relatively few regrets in life. But about a year and a half after raising that, we ended up having to lay off like 20 people and
Well, how many people did you have?
We probably had 25, 30 people at one point.
Did you programmers, or what were they?
Developers, sales, what we had our implementation or customer support. Yeah. We deployed the capital very poorly. So like, James, let me tell you, as an entrepreneur who has learned, we raised so much capital and deployed it so poorly. And this is what we failed to recognize as business owners, is we get so high on our own supply sometimes we forget to go back to the basics. You know what? And candidly, I surrounded myself. This is my fault, my responsibility.
Right. It's all at the top. That's who you blame.
but I did not surround myself with people that would challenge assumption, or people who had the thinking about how we conquer business tomorrow, but we're always looking at how business was done yesterday. And so what I mean by that is like the world had changed and has changed for us in the world, in the business community, where so much of good quality sales, regardless if they're business to consumer or business to business, is built around an inbound marketing apparatus. So we don't think about it today, but when you look at a TikTok influencer or an Instagram influencer, and you're looking at clothes that they wear or how they dress or products they use, that is all really soft marketing. What that's doing is that's getting you warmed up to receive another marketing message.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the second piece there is like, you know what, we piled $500,000 into developing software that was never used.
Oh,
we didn't finish it. And so the two takeaways there are, when you think about making investments to grow your business, number one, you don't need to build out software that you haven't tested or there hasn't been a demonstrated demand for. And number two, you don't need to hire salespeople. What you need to do is build a marketing apparatus to bring a higher qualified lead to your email box. And once you have so many high qualified leads in your inbox, that's when you bring on your next sales guy.
because then they have someone to chase versus just knocking on doors.
Hiring a good inside sales guy is the next piece there. And if you've done a good job building an inbound apparatus, you've made your life significantly easier.
All right.
Those
Interesting.
so the three regrets. Number one, I had to lay off 20 people and hurt them and negatively impacted their family, and that's something that bothers me to this day. Number two, I should have deployed the capital building an inbound infrastructure, because that would have created a more solid infrastructure for growth in the long term. And number three, I would not have overbuilt technical infrastructure that we didn't actually know that we needed.
All right. So it's interesting. I'm hearing somewhat of an irony from the first time you go to McCormick and you're like, hey, you guys are building this thing for the past. And you ended up making a similar mistake, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, everybody gets blind.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I would love to say that I never wasted a dime in business, but what is the definition of entrepreneurship? It's making enough money to afford your mistakes.
I haven't heard that one, but I do like it.
Something like that. Yeah.
But I mean, today, so we hit our low point in 16, 17, and so I've really struggled, like, from owing everybody money to having to pull myself back together to figuring out how I'm gonna make it all work. And thankfully today we're back around. We've got between contractors and people on our payroll, somewhere between 25, 30 people in our universe today. We started our second, so we've seen Altus kind of grow and has become still in the healthcare space, and we're doing some expansion work into the general learning space now. We spin out of Altus, which is SDMCentral, and so that does shared decision-making tools, so it helps patients and providers understand preferences for decision-making. We did that. We spun that out 18 months ago. We did $500,000 last year. We'll likely do 1.2 million this year.
Oh, wow. That's growth. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we hired our chief revenue officer this year, who is overseeing a lot of that growth, which is helping me. And I mean, part of what makes the comeback possible, James, is like I grounded out for a while, and you stop spending on money, and I hid under rocks, and I decided that at some point you got to show your face again. So then I started doing that, and then I hit a point in being in business where I decided I was going to move from being manager to leader.
All right.
And that in itself is a pretty significant milestone for people.
That's a huge, just to acknowledge it, it's a great step.
So some people
actually make moves to accomplish it. It's a huge step, necessary.
I think what allows me to do what I do today is because I was intentional about making the step from manager to leader. And I, so part of a lot of what I do now is empower the people around me. And so when I'm trying to, I don't make every decision great, or I don't make every best decision, but what I try to do is kind of have some value or some theory around what we're trying to do. And, and ask, is it going to help us in the short term? Is this going to benefit the companies and people in the long term?
Nice.
And, the folks that we have around us, I think are doing a really good job at stepping up and learning how to make decisions. Both decisions that I would support or in a framework that I would support, but they don't always make the decision I would want them to make. And what's super privileged is we're gonna hire probably 10, 15 people in the next couple months. And, we're very blessed. We have maybe 75 applications that have come in over the last week and a half, 2 weeks.
In-house people, or we're talking remote somewhere?
So they will likely be, so some people are here in Madison. We will likely hire nationally. So we are deploying a new program this year called Altus Level Up. And so a couple of things that we're doing a little differently. So we found the success of our SDM Central just amazing. We have decided to be really intentional about kind of grooming the talent pool that we want, taking them through the process that we want. And the way that we start to look at success in the long term is we would like to make investments into other startups. I know I would like to make investments. I think where people come short and is not necessarily ideas, but finding the resources, and not necessarily money, but like the people resources and the culture and the mentality. And so, where Altus is going in the long term is being really intentional and teaching people what's expected in a startup and fast-paced environment, establishing a basic level of knowledge and saying, hey, work in our departments. If you come up with an idea that we think we can launch into a business or do kind of an MVP for, we'd love to look at doing it with you. And if we can spin it out into a business, we will. And
wow. Okay.
And actually we are doing our first kind of like MVP of this model right now. We had an intern that worked with us for 2 years. We used to go around the table and do comparing stock picks. And we were all pros, right?
Yeah, we all are.
But so as his last project working for us, we decided to do a special project. And so he built some software-enabled trading software, or some software to do software-enabled trading. And we decided that we were going to build it out and do a company. And so that was kind of like the framework. And then we said, well, we should be really intentional. And let's make this a process. And if that's a path for growth for people that are in our universe, let's support that, because we want that talent to stay in our universe. If we can keep that will help the portfolio at large. And we want people to know that there's a future with Altus.
Gotcha. So you have some work essentially to keep them going while you figure out what the next step is.
That's right. There's work with us, and like because we're doing so much on the training up front, that as you build a company, feel free to go into the Altus pool of talent and pick from that company.
Oh, interesting. So not only are you investing cash in them, you also have resources, people and stuff like that you can help supply as well.
Absolutely. Because people will just have good ideas, and we'd rather keep really smart, bright people in our ecosystem. And we'd like to figure out how to keep them entertained versus lose them to somebody else. And I think, and to that end, we recently did a joint partnership with 2 other guys, but we're launching our first accelerator and incubator programs too. And so the long-term ability here is to be able to support the portfolio companies that go through those programs and be able to help staff them and put talent in there.
So I want to talk about, your feelings, Dan. So let's go back to when you had to let 20 people know, funny story, you don't have a job anymore, times aren't going so well here. Mm-hmm. Was that you that had to have those conversations, or was that some other employee that you had that had to have those conversations?
I put everybody in one room.
Everybody, okay. All 25?
Yep, we had a big room.
All right. So 20, you got to pay for your own lunch today.
Yeah.
Or however you did. Okay.
Yeah, well, it started off where it's like I thought we'd be getting an investment. And so I said, guys, it's going to be likely that we are going to be, we're going to stop work. We are likely not going to close on an investment here, and we're going to have to take a pause.
Now, most of these people that were hired, did they know that you were riding on investment cash rather than profit?
No, I don't think so. I think people thought we were, I think they knew that we take an investment cash. And I think this is actually a failure in my leadership at the time, is really being accurate and portraying, I did not do a good job of communicating with the people that worked for us where we were.
All right.
And a little bit about is what I call like heroism or saviorism, is that I wanted to protect people from the bad news and only share the good news.
Oh, only the rainbows, never the storm clouds, right?
Right. So I internalized a lot of the bad news and never shared and always shared the good stuff.
All
And
right.
I think if I had to do it again, I think it would be more on me to be more transparent about our successes and failures.
Mm.
And I think that I could have benefited, and we collectively would have benefited greatly had if I had been more candid about the failure and asked people for their thoughts on how we could solve it.
All right. Do you feel like your crew at that time would have been able to help you?
I would say, like, one thing, and I value this about the teams that I have today too, like sometimes do they always have like the business savvy or sophistication to make a statement? Maybe, or to solve the problem, no. But what is always of value is that they will put an idea to challenge an assumption that says, you know what, I wouldn't have approached it that way, but maybe if we change this around and have this conversation, this can help us. Does that make sense?
Yeah. More head solving a problem. Makes sense. Sure.
I mean, yes. And, and the other things that we make the situations really complicated, but at the end of the day, the situations are not as complicated as we make them. They're about as complicated as being out on the schoolyard and being on the playground and wondering if you're going to get into a fight or not, or figuring out if somebody's going to break up,
it's interesting you say that, right? Because just like perception of value, the perception of problems and how deep they go is very similar, right? They're rarely based on logic.
Usually when I apply logic, I fail.
It's emotional decisions all the way.
People are very emotional,
some people universally, yeah, extremely.
And
yeah,
I'm guilty of that too. It's like, dude, I'm not doing business with such and such because he wronged me 10 years ago.
All right.
I've been that guy. I'm sure people are that person to me today.
I guess I don't walk into a Best Buy very often because you said because of a 56K modem issue.
Well, see, there you go.
Decades ago when people were horse and buggy days or whatever that was.
But but that's where a lot of this stuff comes down to, is like such and such. It's like, dude, get over it. Go buy him a drink. Go pad stuff up. Everything will be. And I've tried to be significantly more intentional about that and try to take a higher road on stuff. And during this time, again, I was so arrogant on some of this stuff, probably because I was going through my Steve Jobs phase or whatever. Customers are idiots and you did this. At the end of the day, your customers aren't idiots. Your customers, if you open your ear and you listen to them and you ask them some questions, will tell you where we're going.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, they have a business or they have something in their life where they need your product or service, so they're not dumb.
I think the tough thing, and I was listening to this on a podcast, but it makes a lot of sense, is for us as businesses to recognize what customers are saying and to be able to kill the golden goose that got us here, because it isn't going to get us to the next tranche.
Right.
And
so next thing. Yeah. Makes sense.
Like I've developed, I think, an ability to change and adapt.
Well, you have to, right? It's adapt or die.
I mean, ask the guy who is still working in the same hardware store for 40 years.
Yeah, right.
80% of the product that he's selling today are the same products that he was selling 40 years ago.
The technology in hammers probably hasn't advanced too much. So, right, tape measure, still a tape measure.
Yeah.
So, I want to keep going down the emotional road here, though.
Oh, okay. If you make me cry at the end of this, I'm going to be very
It's not that kind of podcast. We're cool. I just want to help people understand, right? Like, I've had to let people go. I haven't had to let people go because business is doing bad. I had to let people go because they were causing business to be bad, not doing their job. Yeah. So I've never had to do any mass layoffs or anything like that. So lucky for me, right? Mm-hmm. What I want to ask is the point when you had to get rid of 20 people, and then to the point you are now, what's the timeline there? Are we talking a few years?
About 8 years.
Eight, okay, well, that's more than a few. Okay.
7, 8 years. So 2016, 2017. So it's 2023 now. So 7 years.
So the moment that everybody walks out of that room after you just let go 80% of your population there,
Mhm.
you take a deep breath, sip of coffee or whatever like that. What do you do when you go home?
I mean, I drink.
Oh,
You know,
don't take advice from this guy. So
I
so the next day, like
I
what was your path that you saw for yourself? Where
oh
did you see yourself going there? Are you like, okay, I have to rebuild this thing? Or hey, how are we going to close up gradually? Or what
no,
was
I
the thought process?
was very deluded that we were going to close on a $1.1 million transaction, and I was being stalled by time.
Oh, you were banking on the sale.
Yes, and so we were getting ready. So yeah, we were raising capital and closing on a transaction simultaneously.
All right. And when you're talking transactions that big, they typically don't happen overnight.
No, I
Not
did not.
like buying a big gulp or something like that.
And no, they're not. And I had just flown to. We were doing we were supposed to do a transaction with this company in Alabama.
All right.
I'd just gotten back from Alabama, talked to the investors, did the whole thing. Like everything should be set to close. So this is one thing I do not appreciate about some folks in their negotiating styles is like it's always one more thing.
Oh my gosh. Wait till after Christmas. Wait till after New Year's. Wait till after the third Tuesday. It's got a full moon. Yeah.
Always
It's
one more.
oftentimes something that has no relevance to the actual decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was always these small things. And I'm like, man, so we're dying by 1,000 cuts. It's
Mhm.
literally like the end of June going into like the holiday fourth year or holiday fourth vacation where I had to give this speech.
Mm.
And I'm like, yeah, it's just like this is like the worst thing. Like, guys, I will get this problem solved in a couple weeks. Bear with me. And I mean, I it's just it's just one of those most horrible things. I mean, I remember like being so cash poor at the time too. Like I had made an investment in Exact Sciences, which is a local company here. They had just gone public, and just before their cancer diagnostic drug was coming to market. So
All
they're
right.
trading at $5.60. That's what I bought it at.
Well, that's a while ago. Okay.
Oh yeah. And I was like, their stock had like shot up to $17. I'm like, God, I gotta liquidate this because I need cash to try to make a payroll.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's kind of like how desperate the situation was at the time. Tried to close, so these deals didn't close. It's drug on for 2-3 weeks, and then it's like, great, everybody's done.
Because there's just no more money.
There's no more money. But we still had the phones on. And slowly but surely we ended up landing. We had a couple of our products renew at the time, which gave us some cash. So we had a subscription business.
All right. Annual?
Yep. So they pay annually for us. And so we had some September, October subscriptions that paid us. So we got started to get recapitalized there. I talked to another one of my investors who went through in like 50 or 70. I had two investors actually. I had two of them throw me another $100,000.
They
And
did.
yes,
After
yes,
running
we
most
had
of the
no
business
money.
into the ground.
Yes, we had no money for 3 months. And then in November of like 16, so this is all coming back to me now in the timeline. Like in November of 16, I had two investors write me $100,000. So
Wow.
between
Lifeline.
yes, between that $100,000 and like getting the renewal business back moving, we went out, got an office, brought another person on, and got everything moving again.
All right. So the original investors, we had that million and a half, I forget what it was. Is this still the same company? So it's coming back up and around and surviving into thriving?
Yes.
All right. Very cool.
Yeah.
And did
So
you get to hire any of those 20 back?
no, we a majority did not settle on good terms.
All right.
They were really upset with me. And I see one now, ironically, one of them is in the office here that we work in.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah.
Just no eye contact.
Nope. You know what? I don't run. There's a problem. I look at it and try to deal with it.
Right on. Right on. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It is very difficult to have a business for any realistic length of time, let's say over 10 years, where you don't piss off at least one or two people.
Yeah, I mean,
intentional or not. It's
my
just,
my Christmas card list has gotten. I guess my Christmas card list is getting longer over the years. The people who send me Christmas cards,
it happens. It's a thing. We're all there.
I
It's all
still get
good.
Christmas cards from the people I went to high school with, so they still like me.
That's funny.
They've also had the privilege of not working with me.
So then over the course of the next 8 years, right, you get this cash infusion. Do you ever close that deal that you were banking on?
No, actually, ironically enough, I was so one of the things that I do now too is will evaluate business deals. And so I had
Oh,
recently just flew to California and I went to go look at a deal. So I'm in California, I'm looking at this deal, I'm sitting down with these guys. And I get a text message. He goes, Alabama, are y'all available for a conversation tomorrow?
we all are.
He goes, y'all. And I go, yeah, let's do it. And he goes, great, y'all be safe up there. I'm like, I'm in California, man. He's like, no problem. I have this call, do it. He goes, hey, we want to spend more time with the grandkids. You ready to buy the business? So it called me again to wanting to close this business. Oh, close and buy the business. Now, the guy who's buying this business in California is my mentor when I did when we did a startup accelerator. He's
Oh, wow.
he's been one of my mentors for like 7-8 years. And I go, Adrian, you'll never guess the call I just got. The guy's asking me if I want to buy this business. He goes, didn't you already say that you weren't going to do that? I'm like, well, you keep telling me that, but every time he calls, I feel like I just want to go buy it.
What kind of business?
Medical education business.
All right. So something that you're already in the realm of.
Very similar to what we're in the realm of. And so slightly different market. Sorry, I might have to sneeze. Slightly different market, but yeah. And you know what, Adrian is right. I'm right. Like I'm overbuying these businesses. What we're looking at doing today is significantly larger. And I never really thought about the segmentation, the challenges when you think about the market you're getting into and what that's got to look like and how you're going to do debt service and what are the longer term economics.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I appreciate that a little bit more, it's easy, in hindsight, had the transaction closed 7 years ago, had we done that acquisition, had we raised $1 million, had we, the reality is it likely would have only pushed off the inevitable.
Oh, just delay the inevitable.
Yeah.
All right.
That's kind of the irony in the mix, and like, again, the core lesson there is like, don't overbuild, understand your customer, build for it, figure out how to serve them. When their need changes, change with them, and then from the individual as an entrepreneur, shake your arrogance, have a little bit, but shake it and check it, figure out how to be a growth mind. And the biggest resource that you have is not the cash in your bank account, but the people you work with.
Oh, fair. People make the business. That's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt to have a couple bucks in the bank just in case your people mess up.
That makes life easier.
Yeah.
It's nice to have money in your checking account, but people are, I would tell you this. One of the guys that stuck around with me, his name is Sam.
Mm-hmm.
I would not be here today if it was not for Sam.
Oh, interesting. All right.
He goes, starts working. I'm like, Sam, everybody is gone. Why are you showing up for work? He goes, I don't know how you're going to do it, Dan, but you were going to figure out how to do this. You always figure out a solution.
Oh, that's so funny. That is
Yeah.
so funny because he knows from an entrepreneurial mindset, right? To just solve a problem. Solve the problem. We're like vanilla ice, right? You got a problem, you all solve it.
If it was not for Sam,
Mhm.
I would not be here talking to you today.
All right. Well, way to go, Sam.
So like that is like, and so you are a product of the people, your environment, and I'm eternally thankful for people having faith in what we do, and it's very humbling.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. And Sam's still with you.
Sam is still with us. Sam is our chief technical officer. Technology.
Very cool.
Yep.
All right. Very cool. So you, in that 8 years, what were you doing to build up to where you are now?
Well, we did a fair amount of hustling.
All right.
And
So selling and looking for more investors?
We didn't really take on more investors. Nope, we just, one of the things that I also learned is that there's a really big allure of wanting to go and raise capital. At some point, you actually have to make money selling a product. You can't just raise capital infinitely.
It is crazy to me on that point how many businesses can raise capital without actually showing a profit or a means to achieve a profit.
Yeah.
It blows my mind because from my point of view, the majority of people that are investing, throwing money, hundreds of millions of dollars at these places are people that did all right, however they got their money. So you'd think they'd be pretty good at decisions. And if I was to be told like, hey, I got the super awesome business idea, and I say, great, are you making money? And they say, no, but I need investors. I'm not going to be an investor in that company. But I see every day I hear about a company that, they landed whatever investment and they don't have a revenue model.
I mean,
How? Why? It blows my mind. Blows my mind. I'm out of touch. Maybe they need a tax write-off somewhere. I don't know.
you can put a lot of stuff on paper, and on paper it sounds really great. The tough part is when the rubber hits the road, And
But
I
to
think
me, that seems like a very logical, like, hey, in order for me to get a return, you need to make a profit. What are the steps for you to make a profit? I remember I was at a 1 million cups event 4 years ago, something like that. There you go. There you go. It was great. It was a lot of fun because you'd have presenter presenting their little spiel about whatever their new widget, software, whatever it is, new business. And I remember there was a group of, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 guys, and they had it was going to be the next big thing, right? And I don't remember if I asked or if somebody else asked. I know I was definitely thinking it. Well, how are you making money? What's your revenue model? And they said, we don't have that yet. But then they also said they're on their second or third round of funding.
Mhm.
I'm like, who is investing in you if you don't even have a way to pay them back?
Well, so this is the answer I would give if I was going to go raise capital and you were an investor.
Mm-hmm.
I would tell you that we've got a SaaS-based model, so software as a service, and we do either a monthly or annual subscription. And we did not invest in building an on-the-ground sales infrastructure. What we did is we built an inbound infrastructure that started finding out where our prospective customer was. So typically that means that if you were looking through a Google search, we brought you to a landing page, we tried to get you into a video, we wanted to educate you and provide you a white paper and understand some conversion activity to really qualify you. Once we did the get, we'd have one of our inbound sales guys call you and kind of run through the discovery process and see if we can really sell you. That's kind of number one. Number two.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
Number two, there's like maybe we're gonna advertise to you on Facebook or Instagram, Snap, TikTok. But roughly the same process. We're gonna collect your information. You're gonna have some kind of conversion action. Gonna come into my system. I'm gonna have my sales guy call you. So you're gonna do the work on this mass level. I'm gonna build an inside sales infrastructure. And it's gonna call and discover you all day long. And I gotta tell you, that is roughly run through the discovery process, just to be clear. But that is like roughly what the formula is if you're a SaaS company.
Right. Yeah.
That is the greatest answer in the world. What's my mechanism? What's my monetization mechanism? It's a SaaS. I'm going to charge you monthly. And then if I got real clever and cute, I'm going to charge you per contact or per user. And I'm going to discount you for a contract term. Boom, done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like a default answer.
Right. In this case, for this particular example that actually happened, this was a social media platform. They had users. They were looking to get more users, but they had no way or means for those users to actually send money to them. So like your business, somebody could call you up and say, hey, I got a bag of money. I want whatever it is you're selling. And you could say, great, drop your bag of money off at this address.
Yeah.
This place, somebody would call up and say, hey, I got a bag of money. I'll buy whatever it is you're selling. And they would say, we're actually not selling anything.
I would say, just give me your credit card number.
But they had nothing. There was nothing.
I find that just crazy.
Yeah. It eventually folded. So we're not crazy, but that means that investors, I assume, lost some cash on that.
Right.
So maybe somebody got a new car. I don't know.
I don't know. Well, I mean, yeah, exactly. But you're not wrong. Like if you don't have a monetization model, no, I will tell you, like we're doing a project now. So we're expanding our product sets for one of our businesses.
Hmm.
And they're gonna ask us how we're gonna monetize this. I'm like, I have no ungodly clue. No, zero zilch nada.
Nothing?
I I
That
just like
hurts to
no.
hear.
Well, hold on a second. I didn't say I didn't come up with one.
But wait, there's more.
Wait, there's more. And so, there's a solution to every problem. And I'm thinking through, and I'm like, huh. If we knew their licensing model, we'd be able to figure out how to price this better. But they haven't told us yet. And so I'm pacing the halls, trying to figure this out. And I'm like, you know what? We're such idiots. And so we use HubSpot.
Okay.
Right? And so HubSpot's a fairly successful marketing automation and a customer relationship management software. And their monetization model is remarkably similar. They give you a flat rate service, a flat rate subscription fee, and plus they ding you on the number of users and the number of contacts.
Hmm.
That's how they expand, right? To create more revenue. I'm like, why do we make this more complicated? Let's just do the exact same thing. We'll just charge a flat rate fee and we'll expand based on usage. And so that's how we solve that problem. So
All
I got,
right.
I got my price point when I talked to the license guy, and he goes, "Hey, your price point is, $450 per year or something like that. Great. Now I can charge X times that and get to where I want to go. So
Hmm.
over with, But I mean, what really, if you kind of hear what I just shared with you, is I went through a discovery process. So I thought about it critically. I looked at relevant examples in the market. I said, this one gets us to where we go. This is obviously the prevailing model because this is now a publicly traded company that allows for scalability. And then to get the exact fixed price point, I did some homework and talked to the providers that were already selling into the space, so I knew where the price points were.
Mm.
So you
Knowing
didn't.
what your competition where they were at.
What's that?
Essentially knowing where your competition was at.
Well,
Price
I guess
wise.
maybe technically a partner in this mix, but yeah,
Got it. Okay.
like how they, yes, and so, but like my point is like it didn't sound like it, but I was actually looking at all the models and trying to do the homework to figure out where to be in the market and to be competitive. Because to like the problem that I had earlier, I did not want to throw a number out and have a perception of value crisis,
Oh, all right.
right? Because if I start that way, it's going to be really hard for me to recover.
Sure.
You know, and
Interesting thing about the software thing, from my point of view as a consumer of software, is that it's very tough to shop for because what you see when you're shopping for something is either way too broad, way too vague. It doesn't say whether it solves your problem. You think it does, but you're not really sure. Or if it does say that it does so, it doesn't necessarily say how. So you don't know, comparing software A to software B, if A does a better job, more efficient job, faster job, smoother job, whatever, versus B, you don't know until you actually test drive them.
well, you're actually identifying one of the challenges that we think a lot of small businesses have, which is trying to figure out softwares. And so I think I shared with you, we're doing an accelerator program. One of the very particular modules that we put into our accelerator program was teaching our businesses how to shop for SaaS-based software.
Oh,
Now, a
wow.
lot of this is basically based off like the experience that we've had at Altus, because we know what we've used HubSpot, we use Active Campaign, we've used MailChimp, we've used Constant Contact, we've used QuickBooks. I mean, we've got a whole arsenal of software. And the dirty little secret is that you can accomplish a lot with most of them. So you can usually accomplish about 80% of what you want with a couple pieces of software. You'll never get to 100%.
No,
And
because as
but
soon as you're happy, then you want something else.
you never find happiness. Um, but to your point, Insightly was a great CRM. I think it still is.
Insightly, I haven't heard that in a long time. All right.
Yeah, I mean it was. I loved Insightly. I loved how fluid it was. But I mean, like, how do you buy one of these things? Well, you think about cost, growth, scalability, et cetera, resources, community to support it. And it's really tough. And so, but to your point, this is what you said. People buy software based off your testimonial and experience. So you go in at a zero to low price point, you get trapped in there because you spend so much time configuring and setting up the way that you want it, is that it's too costly for you to leave.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I mean,
Just
that's
like
what,
your cell phone, right?
well, your cell phone, you are like more likely to defect on your cell phone. And so you're not gonna defect, I'm sorry, you won't leave the Apple iPhone, but what you will leave is AT&T for Verizon or vice versa.
Sure, but it's still a pain.
I mean, all you gotta do is re-download your image from the cloud and reset it up. It's pretty easy and
Right,
friction.
but I'm not going to say all you have to do, because if my mom were to do that,
Oh, fair enough.
difficult, difficult,
Fair
right?
enough.
So it's not for a lot of people, that's no big thing.
I mean,
For other people, they're just like, you know what? I have a certain pain threshold
mhm.
for any given, my internet provider, my cell phone provider, whatever software I'm using, right? I mean, you could make a very strong point that QuickBooks is around because it's just good enough for people not to leave them. Because
I mean,
QuickBooks is not great software, yet they
no,
dominate the market.
I mean, I think QuickBooks did something that Peachtree wasn't. So people are like, what is Peachtree? Peachtree, you remember Peachtree?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Peachtree was a QuickBooks competitor 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when you were a small business, you got pitched by half the accounts that use Peachtree and the other half that use QuickBooks. You know, ultimately where QuickBooks made the biggest impact was going online.
Mm.
Right. And so in the second piece, what QuickBooks essentially did, and really Intuit did, is it exported its innovation by opening up its API, allowing people to build different features for it. And then once a feature found enough traction, they bought the feature and incorporated it into QuickBooks.
Yeah, that's true. I was looking for software for my printer repair company. I remember CRM stuff, and I remember them saying it connects to QuickBooks. And I'm like, can't you have that portion, that accounting portion in the software? So I don't need to bridge it to QuickBooks. No, 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 no.
You know, but I mean, that was genius on, that was genius
Very
on
smart move on QuickBooks end. Yeah. Yeah.
Intuit, because you know what they did? That's an effectively, they exported their research and development, got other people to put up capital for it, and got them to validate and create minimal viable products.
Mm-hmm.
I
It's
mean,
forced loyalty. Yeah.
it is. HubSpot does the same thing with their, anybody who's got a marketplace is basically saying, we don't want to risk doing the software ourselves, so we're going to let other people do it, and we're going to de-risk the situation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, until you have to use the software and you hate it, or you tolerate it, right?
I didn't say the world was perfect.
Right. It certainly is not. That's true. Fair. Totally fair.
Yeah. But yeah, no, buying SaaS software is tough. I think that, well, not I think, so definitively, I buy SaaS software based off my need and like people that I've talked to for recommendations.
All right.
I like to think I'm a first mover on it, but candidly, as I get older on some things, I become less of a first mover on things that are gonna be mission critical. And I take the safer route.
All right. Fair. Because if that software goes away or gets sold or bought or whatever, and
I
you
mean,
get that little email that says that we're discontinuing service or
yeah,
whatever.
well, I mean, this is like, no, make it a different case. Is like the cost of training 25 or 30 people
Oh, fair.
expensive.
Yeah. I remember
Yeah.
it's interesting because I was looking at iThemes had member software. This is back probably 2006, 2007, something like that.
Mhm.
And I almost bid on it, but I did not. And I'm glad I did not, because 3 years later, I get an email, because I was still on their email list, saying, hey, funny story. We sold this person to another company. Good luck. We're no longer offering support. And I was thinking that would have been the whole back end of my whole course through the business coaching thing. I
Yeah.
can't imagine people that had that as their foundation, right? They stuck hundreds, thousands of hours building courses in this platform just to get an email saying, oops. Oh,
You don't think about that stuff, but man, that's what you're talking about though, with the SaaS stuff. I mean, and that, by the way, if you're an investor, what we just talked about is the cost of change is so high that you'll never leave, which means that we value trapped you in there and we can raise the price whenever we want.
all right. I suppose that's the model for Epic.
I mean, I'm not an Epic customer, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I would guess.
The cost of change is so high. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, think about it. Like, you know, when Netflix raises their prices, it's easy to change, you know. When what is something, so you and I use CRM softwares for our businesses.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna give me a 10% raise next year in cost. My costs are gonna go up 10%.
All right.
I'm not gonna change, I'm just gonna suck it up.
Because to train 20 odd people on the CRM system would be
By then it'll be closer to 40.
okay. Are
And
they all in the CRM system though?
most of them are.
Okay.
So we use it for customer support, sales, business.
Oh, so you're talking a whole ticketing system and all that
Yeah,
jazz.
we got everything sitting there.
All right.
You know,
All right.
we got maybe 120,000 records that sit there that we, you know, probably 20,000 of them are actively maintained per year.
Well, hopefully your CRM software person isn't listening to this going like, did we say 10? We meant 40.
Yeah, actually, we decided that we're gonna go all in with HubSpot, and we're gonna become a HubSpot partner with them.
Oh, interesting. All right.
Yeah, so we decided we decided that we're gonna hitch. We're
All
gonna
right.
get into an LTR with HubSpot.
Gotcha.
You know,
Interesting. It's a big move.
yeah, it is. You know, so we've been really intentional about figuring out how to make things work.
So bringing it to today.
Yeah.
How many branches, businesses? I don't know what you'd call them. Maybe there's different. What all do you have going on?
So we've got Altus, which
All right.
got 2 business units, one in the healthcare education and compliance space, one in the non-education compliance space.
All right.
Or, I'm sorry, non-healthcare compliance space, one in the general training space.
Got it.
Sorry.
Okay.
That sounded more confusing.
Course creation software, essentially.
Course creation, LMS.
All right.
Yep. And then we're introducing a mentoring platform within it later this year. Business number 2 is it's called SDMCentral, and that's a patient provider platform to understand treatment preferences for chronic illness. So as an example, if you have asthma, we try to understand, you know, your preferences for treatment of asthma, and then help position you to ask the right questions to a provider to understand what therapy might work for you. Business number 3 is our newest business, which is our software enabled, well, second to newest business, which is our software enabled trading business. That's pretty exciting. So that's one of our new kind of MVPs that we did with our intern, now COO for it. And then business number 4 is our new little capital management business that is doing the incubator and accelerator programs.
All right. Wow.
Team. It's called team and people.
That's a lot of spinning plates for you then, right? Or do you have people running it all and you just camp on the beach all day?
Yes. No,
Camp on the beach spinning plates, James.
No, I don't do the beach. I don't look good in a Speedo in January, but
can't unsee that. Got it. All right.
But no, I mean, it's about team. And so whether it's Ted who runs the Altus business, or is it our CEO for Altus, or, you know, TC who's doing our SDM business, or Callan who's doing the Argus X business, and Justin who's doing our GHW cap management business. I mean, ultimately we could not do these if we did not have operating officers in each of the business units and team that could really execute on this.
Got it. All right.
Am I a really important part? Yes. Am I the whole ball of wax? Absolutely not.
Got it. Fair. Super fair. Dan, how can people find you, get a hold of you, get in touch and ask you questions? Give you a bag of money, whatever.
Find me at altusinc.co.
altusinc.co. Easy enough. Super. Well, I appreciate you being on the show, Dan.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
This is, you know, it's funny because I've known you for years and I had no idea all that you have going on. It's kind of funny.
That's a lot of fun.
It's interesting because I don't know, past few years, pandemic wise and all that jazz, it removed people from being in touch and just bumping into each other, right?
Yes. Well,
Don't bump, stay 6 feet, all that kind of stuff. Don't see
always
people.
up for a cocktail and I shake hands.
Fair. I love it. I love it. Likewise. Cool. I appreciate you being on the show, Dan.
Thank you.
This has been Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. We're locally underwritten by the Bank of Sun Prairie. If you're listening or watching this on the web, if you could do us a huge favor, you know what to do. The thumbs up thing, that's a good thing. Comment, better thing. Subscribe, heavenly, man. My name is James Cademan, and Authentic Business Adventures is brought to you by Calls on Call, offering call answering and receptionist services for service businesses across the country on the web at callsoncall.com. And of course, the Bold Business Book, a book for the entrepreneur in all of us, available wherever fine books are sold. We'd like to thank you, our wonderful listeners, as well as our guest, Dan Guerra, the owner. It's so funny because you just went through the list, but I'll just say CEO of SDM Central. We also had Argus Ventures. What else you got in there? There's a whole list.
Argus X, Altus, and GHW Capital Management.
All right. I love how you pause too. So it's not just me. Lots of stuff. Tell us that website one more time.
Altusinc.co.
Altusinc.co. Perfect.
LTUS.
Say that one more time.
ALTUSINC.co.
Got it. Perfect. Thank you so much. Past episodes can be found morning, noon, and night. The podcast link found at drawincustomers.com. Thank you for listening. We will see you next week. I want you to stay awesome. And if you do nothing else, enjoy your business.